Well, hi. Hopefully you've clicked on this link because you're willing to help us do some transcription and typing on these newsletters. What we're trying to do is to type in the table of contents for every newsletter that we have on our website. Let me show you what we're doing and why we're doing it. So we've already got some of these earlier ones done. And so if I click on one of these 1955 issues, you can see that the table of contents has already been typed in. And in fact, they've been linked to the relevant pages over on the portal to Texas history. So it just makes it very convenient and very easy for people to browse these newsletters and to access the relevant articles. By keying in this information, it also makes all of this information searchable on our website's native search tool as well. So by doing this, we're just revealing a lot of the information in these newsletters to people who visit our website. So there's an example of one that was done. The ones you're going to be working with are not done, so they're going to look a lot like this. So I'll just pick any one of these, and this is what you're going to see when you arrive on it. Some of them I've already identified and linked to the table of contents for it, in which case you can just go there and start. Others I haven't done that on, in which case you're going to have to either, if you're a DGS member, click on the PDF link and view the PDF document and work from there. Or if you're not a DGS member, or if it's more convenient, you can work from the images that are available on the portal to Texas history. Just open the document and step around until you find the table of contents, and that's basically what we want to work with. So that's what we're doing and kind of how we're doing it. Some things to think about as you're doing the transcriptions. I've been following the convention of the people that created the index. So this is typed in what I kind of call a camel case. First letter uppercase, everything lowercase. Many of them you're going to see are just all uppercase, and where that's the case, I'm going along with them. I'm not including any punctuation, so I'm not including all these dashes. I'm not including any page numbers. I just basically want the article name, and if it's provided, the name of the author. Also, if you come across records that are talking about specific locations, if they give a county, but in the index doesn't specify the state, if you would, take a bit of time to look that up and add the information so that we know that is the records for this county, this state, and it just makes it easier for people to find that. So if you're intrigued enough to give it a try, here's how you go about doing it. So I've got a series of sign-up sheets over in our Get Involved volunteer sign-up sheet section of the website. I've got them kind of broken up by decade, so you're not going to probably see them all at the same time. You'll probably just see one or two, but pick whichever one you happens to be out there. Click on it, and you'll probably see, as in this case, some people have already claimed some of the editions. So I've been doing some of the earlier ones. I've done them, so you can't sign up for those. But you can sign up for any of these that are not yet claimed, and then this way we make sure that we don't have more than one person working on the same newsletter at any one time. So all you have to do is click on the sign up button, provide the information, and say sign me up. And you're going to have the exclusive rights to that particular newsletter, and you can do your work knowing that you're not duplicating effort. If for some reason you don't want to do that one, can't do it, something comes up, life happens, you can come back here and just click the clear link on any of the tasks that you have signed up for, and that releases it for somebody else. Now you may have noticed, well, you probably didn't notice, but it's a little bit easier if you log into the website first using this restricted content login menu option here. You were logging in using the same user ID and password that you would use if you were logging in to renew your membership or to sign up for a seminar or something like that. It's exactly the same. The advantage of doing that is that when you go to click on one of those things and volunteer for it, it will pre-populate the fields with your name and some other information. It just makes it go a little bit quicker and a little bit easier for you. So that's just something that I would recommend that you do. So once you have claimed the newsletter or the newsletters that you want to index for us, then you just navigate over to the page where the newsletters are located. That's under Publications and the Newsletters choice. And you will just go to the particular area you're working on, expand that, and click on the particular issue that you've signed up for. Now the objective of all this is to give to me a text file. Now you can create this in a number of ways. In a Windows world, the simplest way is to use something like Notepad, because it's that's exactly the type of file that it creates. You can type this into Word. Would prefer if you would then save it as a text file, but if that's something you don't quite understand, go ahead and give me the Word file. I'll take care of that. But again, if you've got Notepad or some equivalent, that is ideal because it doesn't allow any special formatting or any special characters, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. I'd appreciate it if you'd start the file out with the year and the month so I know which edition you're working from. And then all I'm looking for is the title of the article and the author, as it's stated in the index. Just a note on case, in this particular one, the 1956 April one, whoever created the index did the article titles in all uppercase, and I've just stayed with that convention. Some are camel case, for uppercase first letter, the rest lowercase. Just go with the style of whatever the person creating the index did, and you'll be fine. In some cases, you're going to find that some of the things you work with don't actually have an index. So in this case, you're going to have to be using your judgment. So in this case, I would probably just say, October, 1989 meeting. I'd say the membership report by Dorothy Bruce, if you're feeling really nice, type her title. Welcome, treasurer's report from the editor, research schedule, the name and the title, UT in Arlington. So you kind of get the idea. We're just looking for the highlights of what is in this newsletter. Now, in some cases, you are actually going to have editions that have an index in them, in which case you can pretty much go by this. Don't worry about this indexing or what have you. I'll catch that when I actually input the information into the web page. Now, one thing I will note too, all these indexes, because they're on paper, in this case particularly because it was in a 2-column format, they tended to be really terse and kind of almost cryptic about the description of the article. We're in an electronic world, we have no such restrictions. So as you're going through these things and typing them, if you see something that's indexed as, Smith family of Texas, but you go look at the article and you'll actually see that the title of the article might be something like, John Smith family living in Comstock, Texas from 1856 to 1860. Feel free to use that longer description. The more information you put in there in terms of names and dates and locations, the more indexable, the more discoverable it's going to be when somebody searches our website looking for them. Also, if there are articles about places, if they just mention like the county, like Tarrant County, I'd appreciate it if you'd say Tarrant County, of Texas, so that there's no doubt about what state the county happens to be located in. So if you can either glean it out of the article or do a little research, that would help me immensely. Finally, as you're going through these editions, if you find things in there that are not indexed, that you just think might be of interest to researchers, feel free to add them in. You don't have to be locked into exactly what is in the index. So you'll find that a lot of times they'll have little filler things in there. I just came across an obituary for one of our prominent early members, Comstock. It wasn't indexed. I typed it in. So feel free to kind of ad lib. We're not making a book. We're not retyping the whole thing, but we want this index to be as useful to people as it possibly can be. And then after you've completed your work on your text file, just save it and mail it to me at webmaster@dallasgenealogy.org, and I'll take it from there. I'll go to the website, to this the web page for this edition. I will paste this information in, and then I will make the links to the appropriate pages over on the portal to Texas History. Okay, just a couple of more things, and I'll wrap up here. I want to pay special attention to books. Now, you're going to find in many of these editions that we, as a society, have published, books recently added to the Dallas Library collection. My thinking on those is that those are going to be indexed in the library, and there's no need for us to go through the agony of trying to type all those books because, as you're going to see, there's a lot of them. On the other hand, I have found little obscure references to books that I don't think were necessarily added to our library collection. And in those cases, I have chose to include them in the index. So for example, I'm showing here the April 1956 newsletter. I think these are just books that people were saying are good references about specific things about Texas history. And like I said, I chose to include them in the index because it seemed like these might be, obscure, particularly in some of the older newsletters. This just might be really old, hard to find things. So I just thought it would make sense to include them. Use your discretion, but again, do not transcribe the books that Lloyd bought for the library because there's billions of them and you'll go crazy. So there's that. The other thing I want to point out, the really nice feature about the portal to Texas History, when you're viewing any particular page, not only can you download various sizes of them, but they've already done some OCR work in there. So for any page, you can go to the bottom of this tools download thing and use the view extracted text tool, and you can see that they've done a pretty good job of OCRing. And so if there's anything in here that you want to include in the index, this is a lazy man's way, of being able to highlight stuff. You just have to copy it and then you can paste it into the index you're creating for me. So don't be afraid to dive into that and maybe save yourself some typing as well. So again, if you have any questions or any issues, contact me and I'll be delighted to help you. Thank you for hanging in here this long, and what turned out to be a pretty long video, but hopefully it gives you a good background. And more than anything, thanks so much for even considering to help us do this indexing project. We really appreciate it.